All right, hello everyone. Today is a beautiful day here in Korea, and I am in Seoul on my way over to Roastery Sunho. They just did another group buy through Airworks, which is a group buy business slash system, I guess we should call it. And they are based out of the States, to my knowledge. Anyway, this is the second time Roastery Sunho is being featured, and Roastery Sunho is a great friend of mine, the owner of Roastery Sunho, Sang-soo. He's a great friend of mine, an incredible roaster and brewer, cafe owner, you name it. And so, yeah, we're gonna go check out some of the coffees that he has prepped and already sent out to Airworks. I believe they're already sent out, and so if you got your orders in through Airworks, you're gonna get your coffee soon. And today we're basically just gonna go and preview some of these coffees. He actually just sent me those coffees to my house, and I just got a text saying that they've arrived, and I'm almost at Roastery Sunho, and so I guess he didn't really need to send me those coffees. Perhaps I could share those coffees with some of my friends. Anyway, we're gonna go brew, taste, and show you guys a little bit of what you might be able to expect from this order from Airworks. So catch y'all there. All right, we're in Roastery Sunho now. This is, well, that's Sang-soo. Say hello. Well, turns out he has sent basically all the coffees out to Airworks already, and what little he had left, he sent everything over to my house. And so there's only one of these coffees here. I only have the Bolivia here with us. Ooh. Whoa. It smells like fruit yogurt. Dry aroma is like strawberry yogurt. Okay, so I've already had this coffee before, but this is a new profile, new roasting profile that he's applied to all of the current Airworks batch that was sent out. But wow, like that is so much more expressive. There's so much more to this coffee than there was before. It's like a completely different coffee at this point. That's insane. Whoa, so much fruit. And this is just a classic wash geisha, by the way. Whoa, that's wild, wild. And this is the batch that you guys are gonna get. And so, wow. Basically, the start temp for these coffees was initially all at 190 degrees, but now they've dropped the start temperature from 190 to something a little bit lower, and throughout the roast, he's giving it more heat. And so, but wow, it's a completely different coffee. It's so interesting how roasting and different roast curves can completely change the coffee like this. We'll do the Bolivia here, brewed by Sang-soo, and we'll do the rest of the coffees at my place, and I'll just brew those. So, wow, that is wild. Completely different coffee. This is the Bolivia geisha. Whoa. A ton of fruits. A ton of fruits. A ton of red fruits going on right now. It's very, very fresh, and so it's a little bit tough to say in terms of clarity, right? These coffees need a little bit more time to degas, but right now I'm getting a ton of red fruits. Nice deep florality that's present as well. Very nice sweetness. Very, very nice sweetness. I asked him if he had ground the co-fermented coffee beforehand because the fruits are so bright. Like plum, cherries, raspberries, a little bit of strawberry, like cooked strawberries now. Wow. Let these coffees rest a good bit and then dig in. This is TNT Coffee Lab out of Panama. This is their double fermentation natural geisha. Okay, so the Bolivia is cooling down. It's cooled down a lot now, and now that it's cooled down a lot, there's this very distinct herbal thing going on in the cup. Still really nice sweetness, really nice red fruits that's present, but now with an additional layer and an upfront kick of these herbs. It's definitely very loud herbs up front. Almost like a little bit of rosemary kind of herbal notes up front, and then it carries on. Okay, so he found us some of the Java, and so we're gonna drink the Java now. I'm really excited to taste this Java, actually. Okay, this is the El Socorro Java. It's really, really mellow. It's really, really, really mellow. It's very much calm, tea-like. Slight hints of florality that's present, but it's primarily just very, very mellow. There's definitely a little bit of like darker citrus that's present as well. But yeah, it's incredibly clean. All right, so back in my studio, we're gonna brew all 4 of the coffees that have been sent from Roastery Sunho to Airworks. The first one is Brew, Ethiopia, washed Ethiopia. The second one is an SL28 varietal from Fincal Puente in Honduras. And then this one is the Java from El Socorro in Guatemala. And then the last one is a Bolivia Illimani washed geisha. And so these 4 coffees are what went out to Airworks for the most recent Airworks drop. And I already ground the 4 coffees. We used the EK with SSP brews for us to really see what's going on in these coffees in full clarity. Of course, we're going to be using the UFO drippers with UFO Type A filters, and we'll use the UFO Type A recipe. But we'll assess the dry aroma first. Okay, the washed Ethiopia is very, very nice. There's some really nice crisp citrus type acidity going on, very vibrant. A little bit of stone fruits that's present at the nose as well. Bit something like a white peach. Wow, this SL28 is very vibrant. Very floral at the nose, like yellow florals. A little bit of tea as well. The Java is really, really very delicate. Yeah, the Java is very delicate. I don't think this is quite opened up all the way. These are all roasted only 4 or 5 days ago. Little bit of nut that's present in the Java as well. Okay, in the Illimani geisha. So when I smelled it, when I smelled the dry aroma at Roastery Sunho, I was mind blown at how fruity it was. And I remember asking if he had ground a co-fermented coffee beforehand, and I think that's right. So it's nowhere near as fruity as it was, like that strawberry lactic thing going on when it was in dry aroma when I was smelled it at Roastery Sunho. That's not really there. Berries are still very much present, red berries, maybe a little bit of cherries, but it's nowhere near as loud. It was for sure like he had either ground co-fermented coffee through the ZM beforehand, or he had used the same dosing cup that had co-fermented coffee in it, because like it's just not here anymore. And so anyway, yeah, the washed Ethiopia is smelling incredible, and same with the SL28. The SL28 almost smells like a washed geisha. Like it's very nice. All right, so we'll brew all 4 at the same time so that we can taste all of them from hot to cool together. Of course, I'm going to be over caffeinated to absolute oblivion if I were to actually drink all of these, so I will be spitting them out, but nonetheless, let's go ahead and get started. The recipe is really simple. It's 45 grams, 5 times. So the first 3 pours are going to be circle pours, as you just saw, and then the last 2 pours are going to be center pours. You want to be pouring pretty slowly, not too fast. And we're going to be pouring every 30 seconds. Wow, the smell that's in this room right now is bonkers. As for the grind size, I'm grinding pretty damn coarse because, again, I am using UFO Type A filters, and UFO Type A filters definitely require pretty coarse grounds for it to actually work, especially with these very dense washed coffees, which every single one of these coffees are washed, I believe. Yeah, and so What we're aiming for when you're brewing with a UFO Type A is for you to grind really, really coarse and for you to get maximum clarity that you can out of these cups. UFO, of course, flows a little bit slower compared to your traditional brewers that you may be used to. And especially with the Type A filters, it's going to slow down the brew even more. And it really, really works very well with these heavily processed coffees that flow incredibly fast. But it also works very well with these very dense coffees if you just grind very, very coarse. It just shows a very transparent and clear presentation of what the coffees have to offer. And so that's what we're doing right now. Water temperature is set to 92 degrees Celsius. And as for the water that I am using third wave water. And I definitely just did the fourth pour, circle pour instead of center pour, but that's okay. That's just going to push extraction even a little bit further. And so, yeah, it is what it is. It's okay. We'll compensate. We'll work with it. It's also going to give us a little bit slower of a full drain through. But again, I'm not too worried with these coffees. So this is the last pour, all the way up to 225, and done. All right, so while these are draining through, I guess it's a good time to kind of discuss what the Korean specialty coffee scene has been like for me. And it's been very, very fun. There's a lot of really fantastic coffee roasters out here that I enjoy deeply. For instance, like Roastery Sunho, there's also John Small, there's also Claramento. Where else? Of course, Fill Out Coffee. I enjoy Fill Out Coffee quite a lot. And who else? Who else do I buy from? Yeah, there's Ruber, there's Hang Roasters. And a lot of these roasters do roast quite light, but not nearly as light as like the ultralight roasts that you see coming out of September or H&S. And yeah, I mean, truth be told, I think Airy coffee, Airy is probably at the level of ultralight. But Airy coffees, if you bought Airy coffee from Airworks, this drop, please make sure that you are using hard ppm water. Like not that hard, but I'm talking like 150 ppm. So third wave water. The water that I'm using right now is third wave water, but half dosage, so 75 ppm is where I'm sitting at. But for Airy coffee, like you need water that's over 150 ppm for the coffees to taste right. Otherwise, you are going to get a ton of grain, and that's just something that I've noticed from my past experiences with Airy. Junghan is a great friend of mine, but I'm just saying it as it is. His coffees taste incredible at high ppm waters, and the reason why is because in Busan they cup and they QC and they roast to their water, and their water is very, very hard. Like even after it goes through multiple sets of filters, it's not that uncommon for them to see water still be at like 250, 300 ppm. So if you're using water that's like 30 ppm, 75 ppm, or even 80 ppm, the coffee's not going to dissolve right. It's just not going to extract right. And so anyway, all these brews are finished drawing down. These two finished drawing down right around like 340 mark. These two finished drawing down at 317 for this one, 316 for this one. Again, that's because we didn't use center pour for the last two pours, so the brews were a little bit slower. I generally like to see with Type A filters anywhere between 3 minutes all the way up to 320, 330. Anything over 330, I would consider it to be slightly too slow. So I am expecting a little bit of dry astringency out of these two cups here because of the contact time, but we'll see. Sometimes some coffees, even at like 5 minutes of contact time, they still end up tasting perfectly fine. So don't take contact time as if it's some sort of a magic formula, and do not be scared of longer and extended contact times, especially with these very, very lightly roasted coffees. All right. Put away all the drippers. Grab my spittoon. Ooh, very nice. Really nice black tea. Really, really nice. There's also a little bit of like very nice woody thing going on, like cedar. Like it's a very pleasant wood that's present at the nose. The SL28 continues to be very, very yellow fruity, very high in acidity. I can tell this is going to be a very acidic coffee. It's just got this kick at the nose already. A ton of yellow fruits. Yeah, the Java is similar to what I experienced at Roastery Sunho. There's a little bit of that like geisha vibes to it, but it's definitely, I think this coffee needs more time to rest and then it'll open up more. But at the aroma, not a whole lot happening, not a ton happening anyway. Maybe very soft fruits, very, very soft fruits, like very soft cooked red fruits. Maybe something like raspberries, prune, things of that sort. Definitely nothing like tropical fruits at the nose quite yet. Okay, and the Bolivia geisha, it still remains, it still is holding on to that strawberry aroma at the nose. It's very much raspberries, cherries, red cherries, and things like that. But that like strawberry yogurt lacticness, I think that's for sure from a co-fermented coffee that was previously in the dosing cup, but still remains incredibly floral, incredibly fruity, and so yeah, I'm excited to dig into those. Yeah, the Bergwu is really nice. It's really nice. Again, like I'm tasting that astringency from an extended contact time, but I'm just gonna focus on the cup quality minus the astringency from the extended contact time. Yeah, beautiful stone fruits. It's not a very loud or a punchy wash Ethiopia, but it's a very clean one with very, very nice, clean, crisp acidity. For sure florals pulling through, for sure nice Earl Grey pulling through. Yeah, just a really beautiful classic Ethiopia. I mean, yeah, there's not a whole lot more to explain, but yeah, very enjoyable cup, very enjoyable cup. I actually already finished the bag of the Bergwu. This on espresso was incredible. Like, you know, 1 to 3 turbo, 1 to 3 turbo. It's just freaking beautiful, beautiful floral bomb. All right, here's the El Puente SL28. Okay, yeah, the SL20 is exactly kind of what I expected. It's got a ton of yellow fruits that's present. Again, not very, very clear quite yet, just because it's still so fresh, but I imagine by the time you guys all receive your bags, they'll be properly rested. Yeah, there's like a little bit of like pineapple type of slight bit of tropical fruits that's present, but really the acidity is so yellow. But I can't pinpoint exactly what yellow fruit this is, but it's like guava. Guava is not even a yellow fruit, but like perhaps a little bit of citrus, but something like a tamarind, right? It's got this like very tangy acidity thing going on, but it's also kind of dark. It's not as bright as I anticipated the fruits to come through with. Again, this will change. This will change, but boy, the acidity is so clean, so crisp, incredible. Very, very tasty SL28. Especially tasting SL20 from Honduras. You know, we're always used to tasting SL28s from Kenya, but tasting SL20 from Honduras, especially from Finca El Puente, is from the Caballero family. It's a true treat. I believe it's from the Caballero family. Maybe it's a different El Puente, but nonetheless, it's tasty. Yeah, the El Socorro, to me, at this stage, leaves a bit to be desired. There's a little bit of like a toasty character going on here in the cup. I'm not sure if this toastiness will go away. It may be that it's just so fresh, but it's also the same thing that I noticed when I tasted with Sangsu at the roastery a couple days ago. Yeah, it's nice. It's nice. It's a very classic Java. You know, it's basically what you would expect out of a washed Java. Java to me has been it's never been a very complex varietal to me. It's almost usually been exclusively a pretty direct cup note, and this here is what I would expect out of a washed Java. And with that, even that slight toastiness that's present, it's kind of what I've gotten from vast majority of Javas I've tasted. Nonetheless, moving on to the last one, Bolivia Ilimari Geisha. Really, really nice. Again, ton of herbs. Herbs are, this is a very, very, very herbal cup. There are some fruits that's present, some fruits that are present, again, skewing towards red fruits, skewing towards like those red cherries. There are slight bits of berries that are present as well, but herbal note, rosemary is just so dominant. So dominant. And so, yeah, this was a quick preview, the first brew of the 4 coffees that have been sent out to Airworks from Roastery Sunho. These coffees are going to, of course, change as they age. And perhaps I might try brewing these coffees on UFO with Sybaris fasts to see what the presentation looks like with a much finer grind size. But generally speaking, this is kind of how the coffees are going to taste, especially with the SSP brewers and with the Type A, with the UFO. It's just a clarity monster. And so I don't expect the coffees to change too much. And if I were to pick my personal favorite out of the 4, it would be the brew, the washed Ethiopia, but I'm a sucker for washed Ethiopias. I'm a little bit bummed that Airworks didn't bring on some of the really nice geishas that were available on the lineup, but I think that's because they had to also include John Small and also Airy and John Small. They basically almost exclusively have those like expensive Panamanian geishas, and so I can see why, and especially with Airy coffee being showcased for the very first time, it only makes sense to give Airy a little bit of spotlight. And so if you missed out on some of the Sunho geishas, then I guess ask Airworks to carry them on, bring them on, because some of the Panamanian geishas that were sent out as offer list, those are incredible. Those are mind-bending, but they're very expensive. I mean, specialty coffee is expensive, and then once you get into the high-end stuff, then it gets even more expensive. Some of the coffees are just outrageously expensive to the point where most people can't even afford it, and I get that. But I'm just saying those coffees were incredible, and it's a bummer that you guys didn't get to taste those. But yeah, these coffees are not bad. I mean, they're solid for what they are. Again, for me personally, the Java leaves a bit to be desired. The Burgu is incredible. So is the El Puente, the SL20. I actually really want to see what that tastes like when pulled on espresso. The Ilimari Bolivian geisha. Bolivian geishas are very different to other terroirs. But yeah, it's a very fun coffee. If you're not a big fan of herbal notes, then you may not enjoy this coffee very much, because it's not a very citrus or floral forward cup. It's a very much an herbal floral cup profile. Nonetheless, that is it for this quick little video. I guess it's not even that quick at this point, but hope you guys all enjoy brewing those Airworks coffees. Sunho has been doing an incredible job, and also so has Airy Coffee, and so has John Small. 3 incredibly different roasters with incredibly different roasting philosophies, different roasting machines. Airy roasts on Stronghold, and Sunho roasts on a Korean roast drum roaster called Trinitas, and John Small roasts on a Gießen W6 and also an Easy Stir 1.8, which is a Probatino knockoff. I mean, like it's a Probat knockoff. Heck, I mean, even the roaster owner, the Easy Stir company owner, claims that the Probat is the greatest roaster in the world, which, you know, I don't know. I have mixed feelings about that, but I do enjoy Probat roasts. I think if I had to pick one roaster that I'd want to drink coffees with for the rest of my life, it would probably be a Loring, but that's just because I just love Loring roasts. That's just been my preference for a long while. And then next would be Probat. But then again, some of the IMF roasts from Claramento has been incredible. And of course, Prodigal, Scott Rail, he's been roasting on the IMF, and Prodigal coffees have been tasty as well. So anyway, that is it. That is really it. I'm going to say goodbye to y'all. And if you have any questions, drop them down in the comment section below. If you haven't already, please like and subscribe for more videos. It really means a lot. Thank you guys. Bye.